Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into We the Peasants podcast. This is going to be just a short little video version. You can catch the full version on Spotify under We the Peasants podcast. First, I'd like to talk a little bit about some things that are going on in our government. They seem to go on quite frequently, but one of the main things that's being talked about is the auto pen that signed pretty much everything for Joe Biden over the course of his term as the president. It's come out that he has cancer, dementia, all kinds of different stuff. Now, if you worked in an old folks' home and you were the nurse and you were taking advantage of someone who had cancer or dementia, and you were writing checks, approving loans, selling stuff, all kinds of different variations there, you would be in prison. You would go to jail, no questions asked. But in our highest office, the office of the president, we have a gentleman who has been in politics for 50 plus years, who has cancer, dementia, that they said that he was not even healthy enough to stand trial, but somehow was passing legislation, was funding wars, was giving money to other countries, all with an auto pen. And I have put together what I call a little tidbit on how to break down where the auto pen comes from. We're going to start with the definition of blackmail, okay? Blackmail's definition is the action treated as a criminal offense or demanding payment or another benefit from someone in return for not revealing, compromising, or damaging information about them. That is the definition of blackmail. Now I'm going to turn my camera so I can show you a picture of blackmail. Okay? Right here, we're going to zoom in. This is a picture of blackmail. Okay? We just read the definition, and there's the picture. Okay? So now we have the definition of blackmail, and we have a picture of blackmail. It's the same thing if you look up an auto pen. You'll have the definition, and you'll have that same picture. In many interviews, the gentleman that I showed you in the blackmail photo has said that he would run a third term as long as he could do it from the shadows, behind the curtains, and control the puppet. And we're learning now that that is what happened. He was controlling the puppet and running a third term and got away with it for the most part. If anybody that follows me or watches any of my stuff would look into the movie that was released about his life, it showed that he was raised to get a position higher up in our government so he could destroy the government from within. Have you ever seen the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie? It's a prime example of how that works. They're born in another country. They get U.S. citizenship. They go to college. It's all paid for. They bust their asses to get into a position of power so that way they can bring the government down from within. And this is a prime example of that situation. Now, the fly in the ointment is Donald Trump. They thought they had everything rigged. They thought they had everything golden. But Trump stepped in and won anyways. And that threw a fly in their ointment on how they had everything planned. You know, with these $21 trillion underground bunkers that they used your taxpayer money for, the plans to depopulate by 80% with whether it be viruses, whether it be natural catastrophes, whether it be war, whether it be whatever, they want to reduce the population so they can control it a little better. See, they have gotten away with, for hundreds of years, this design that they've created where we believe that we have a constitution and a declaration of independence and that we're all free and that we just willingly give them our tax dollars. That has worked for them for hundreds of years. Well, now that it's coming out, what they've been doing and how corrupt they really are, they're struggling. They do not want to lose that power. They do not want to let Donald Trump win, if you will, or the American people, because that was never their plan. Their plan was to, if we ever got too far out of control, to eliminate us, reduce the population by 80%. And that being said, they could go into their underground $21 trillion cities and live there for a long period of time until they were ready to come out and restart over. Pretty much everything from our history, our past, has all been fabricated by these elites, by the government. All of this stuff is coming out. It's retarded. You cannot believe the stuff that these people have lied, manipulated, and told us about in order for us to just be their slaves. And we are their slaves. That is, we willingly give them our tax money. We willingly follow these laws that are the most ridiculous laws in the world. Well, these people are rich. You're paying for everything for them. Housing, food, travel, salary, insider trade. You're paying for all of this money. It's all coming out of your pocket. Your back-breaking sweat, blood, and tears that you're putting into your job, most of it is going to them. So they can live great lives. It's ridiculous. And then we also have, this story that just came out the other day. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel. They're the leaders of the FBI. Well, Dan Bongino on his show was an advocate for the American people, talked strongly about how he used to work for Obama and Hillary, and he knew the inner workings of how corrupt these people were, and that if he ever was given the chance, he would bring them down. Okay? He announced the other day that he's seen all the evidence and Epstein did unalive himself. Well, every American in the world knows that that is not true. But let me ask you this question. Everybody in this world is struggling right now. Everybody is having trouble. The only ones who are not struggling are the elites and the federal government, because we pay all their bills. So the elites and all of these people are doing just fine. But the majority of the middle class, because there is no lower class anymore, they're just poor living on the streets. The middle class are struggling. These people are struggling to just pay regular bills. Now let me ask you this question. If, for some ungodly reason, you were able to get a position in Congress, or working for the FBI, or working for the CIA, or working underneath someone in the presidency, being as broke as you are, and never in your life seeing the kind of money that these people are seeing, could you honestly tell me that you would not take $100 million to look the other way, or to say a different narrative? Could you honestly say that these people who are worth trillions of dollars, who have influence like you would not believe, they could snap a finger and make you disappear, could you honestly go up against them? It's a good, I want to know your answer. Let me know in the comments, because how do we know that just because they're the head of the FBI doesn't mean nothing? These people have influence all over the world, and they have more money than most countries have seen. And if they're threatening these people or influencing them with money, could you stand up and say no if it were you? I'm not saying that they are compromised. I'm not saying that they are getting bribes, which has seemed to be the way our government has worked over the years. Lots of money flowing, lots of laundering, lots of scheming going on. I'm not saying that that is what happened. I'm just saying, could you, if it were you, could you say no? Could you, if these people were threatening your family, could you say no and continue to out them and let the American people know what's really going on? Could you do it? Let me know in the comments. I don't think for a minute that Epstein unalived himself. I don't think he is even unalived. I think that he is either living on an island or he is living in these $21 trillion underground cities. Because in these underground cities, there are no laws. The laws that are up here that say you can't do this and you can't do that, no such thing. Everything in our world ties back to money, laundering, scheming, power. That's it. That's the end of it. That is where it ends up. Power. Power, power, power. And these people are power and money hungry. They will do whatever it takes to keep that power. So, this is the video for today. Sorry I haven't done a video in a little while. I was just a little perturbed with most social media platforms. TikTok banned me because they don't like the truth. YouTube, I have 148,000 subscribers and I get maybe 40, 50 views. Facebook, I don't get anybody seeing my videos on Instagram because I'm being shadow banned. They don't want you to know the truth. They have a whole group of people that make millions of dollars a year to just censor people who are sharing the truth because they do not want you to know it. They do not want you to know what is real. They want you to only know and see what they want you to see, and that is it. So that's why I haven't done a video in a couple days. I was a little perturbed, but hey, I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best to get videos out there so people can see them. So, like I said, there's going to be a little bit longer version of this video on Spotify. We the Peasants Podcast. Check it out. We'll see you guys later.